Welcome to the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Semifinals of the Wooden Legacy. Number 25, Marquette, knocked off the host Cal State Fullerton yesterday to get to the semifinal matchup. George Washington, in overtime, knocked off Miami. Along with the most outstanding player from the 1997 Final Four, Miles Simon, Roxy Bernstein with you for this matchup between GW and Marquette. Day one of this Wooden Legacy, Miles, what did you see?
Well, I saw two dominating performances from the Big East teams. Marquette and Creighton really came out and exerted their physicality and their presence as being the dominant teams here. But they'll face tough challenges today from George Washington and San Diego State in the semifinals.
Well, take us to the one-on-one for this matchup between GW and Marquette. What are you looking for?
Well, first for GW, they were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country last year. With the addition now of Indiana transfer Maurice Creek, they've really improved in that facet of their game. They're now shooting 47% as a team from the three-point line. They'll need to knock down a bunch of those today. And then from Marquette, they dominated in the paint. Devontae Gardner, Jamil Wilson exerted their force down low yesterday. They really dominated the Titans on the inside, getting layup after layup and dunk after dunk, and they'll want to use that physicality today against GW.
George Washington 5-0 for the first time since 2005-2006, starting five, the Indiana transfer, Maurice Creek. Joe McDonald, who hit a game-tying shot to end regulation to send the game to overtime with Miami yesterday. And then number 25, Marquette, Jamil Wilson, coming off a career-best 24 points. Derek Wilson, the point guard, who makes it go for Marquette. Jake Thomas, the outstanding three-point shooter for the Golden Eagles, who come in at 4-2. Marquette, the designated home team in this matchup. They're in the whites, the navy blue for George Washington. We are underway, semifinals of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on the campus of Cal State Fullerton in Southern California. Jamil Wilson called for traveling on the block.
And you see right away, Marquette wants to go inside. They have an advantage in there. Jamil Wilson did a lot of his damage yesterday from the perimeter, but he's kind of a face-up four. He knocked down 3 threes yesterday, a career-high 24 points, where Armwood does a great job on the first possession of just staying big. Joe
McDonald, who was the hero toward the end of regulation in the game yesterday against Miami to send the game to overtime. Ethan Savage in the key. That one's short, and the rebound cleared by Juan Anderson and Marquette. Chris O'Toole inside. Off the window and going inside. 2-0, the Golden Eagles out in front first.
And that's really O'Toole's go-to move. He loves to feel the contact when he posts up on that left block. Try to go to the middle and then spin off the defender and lay it in on the drop step. For George Washington, the Zeke and Creek show. Maurice Creek and Isaiah Armwood need to both have big games today if George Washington wants to pull off the upset.
Maurice Creek rattles out the three. And the rebound run down by Chris O'Toole for the Golden Eagles.
When you're a coach and you work on blockouts in practice, when you see the basketball hit the floor, you know that 5 guys have screened out their guys with a body, and then they went and sought that ball after it hit the ground. Great job by the Golden Eagles.
The Oregon transfer, Jamil Wilson. Short, and the rebound controlled Juan Anderson hustling for Marquette. Anderson a three, and it's 5-0 Marquette.
One of the biggest current concerns when I talked to Coach Mike Lonergan before the game was offensive rebounding, because Marquette is so big and long at each position. There, Juan Anderson rewards himself after getting the offensive rebound and then knocking down the three.
His first three-pointer of the season. Ethan Savage underneath. Left it short. Jamil Wilson the rebound, and a foul against George Washington. Mike Lonergan, in his 3rd season at GW, won a Division III national championship back in 2001 while coaching at Catholic University. And then Buzz Williams in his 6th year at Marquette, 7th overall as a Division I head coach on the other end of the floor. Marquette, the preseason Big East favorites. Out to an early 5-0 lead.
The ball's not sticking in anyone's hands. Really fluid ball movement by Marquette early in this game.
Jake Thomas the pull-up. And the rebound, Isaiah Armwood, the Villanova transfer for GW.
Coach Mike Lonergan, before the game, he told me they really want to get out and run. They don't want to get into a grinded out game with this Marquette team because they just don't have the depth or the inside capability to grind out in a half-court style.
Kevin Larson missing inside, cleared by the Golden Eagles. Derek Wilson drives, leans in as a shot blocked by Joe McDonald, gets it back. And a Marquette basketball underneath.
One of the GW players was touching the basketball as he was standing out of bounds. Excellent eyes by the official.
Emil Wilson off the inbound. And the rebound secured by Armwood. They had it stripped by Juan Anderson. And Marquette takes control.
Great job by Juan Anderson, just coming from the weak side and seeking that basketball out. Nobody puts a body on him.
Illegal screen set by Jamil Wilson, trying to free up Anderson on the baseline, and a turnover by the Golden Eagles.
And he moves his hip clearly right into Armwood. Easy call in front of the official.
First foul against Marquette.
How this game is officiated can set the tempo. If Marquette's allowed to push and grind out and be physical, that's going to be advantage Golden Eagles. But if it's a touch, a lot of touch fouls called, and then it's going to be advantage for George Washington.
Short from Joe McDonald, the rebound, Jamil Wilson and Marquette. George Washington still scoreless. Chris O'Toole in the post. And a foul against George Washington. Kevin Larson, his first. That's now 2 on the Colonials. And a rough beginning for George Washington here against Marquette. 0 of 6 from the field for GW as Devontae Gardner comes in replacing Chris O'Toole, the 6'8" senior from Suffolk, Virginia, who actually leads Marquette in scoring and coming off the bench. Last year's Big East 6th man of the year. And Juwan Johnson coming off a career high of 18 yesterday in their win against Cal State. Fullerton checks in. And
that has to be concerning for George Washington. Now, 3 of the best players for the Marquette team are coming off the bench. Gardner had an excellent game yesterday at 18 and 9, and he's the big physical, more offensive-minded post guy.
Marquette out to a 5-0 lead inside 16 minutes remaining in the semifinal matchup as Isaiah Armwood cuts to the basket and breaks the seal for George Washington.
And that's a great job of recognizing the double team by Kevin Larson and then finding his cutting partner, Isaiah Armwood, going to the rim.
Devontae Gardner losing the ball going up. George Washington pushes Maurice Creek. Armwood on the block. Left it short, rebound, Devontae Gardner. Outstanding post defense by Jamil Wilson for the Golden Eagles.
I would have liked to see McDonald back that ball out and make Gardner come and guard him on the perimeter and then try to get downhill and go one-on-one.
Jamil Wilson hits the 3. And Mike Lonergan wants a timeout. And technical foul against Mike Lonergan. And George Washington as Wilson hits the 3. Marquette leading at 8-2, semis of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy.
Craftsman will make his holiday. So be sure to stop by for Craftsman's Black Friday doorbusters, starting tonight with deals like 50% off bolt-on, $59.99 for a limited time only at Sears and Craftsman.com. Craftsman, made to make.
Some frustration early for Mike Lonergan and George Washington, down 8-2. 15:07 left in the first half, and a technical foul has been issued to the head coach of the Colonials. Mike Lonergan called for a tee and also took a 30-second timeout. And here's what got the technical foul for the GW head coach.
And it's going to be 2 free throws here for the Marquette Golden Eagles. Point of interruption, then it will be George Washington's basketball once they resume play.
So Lonergan picks up the quick tee.
But Roxy, the reason why he's staying on the officials, because the rules, he doesn't want this to be a physical basketball game. He wants, if there's hands on, you know, or if there's pushes in the back by the Marquette team, he wants the whistle to be blown. He wants it a more cleanly officiated basketball game. So that's why he's pointing that out to the officials early, and he took a tee because of it.
Devontae Gardner shoots the technical free throws. A 66% foul shooter, and the senior hits the first. Averages 14.3 points a game, leading Marquette. Double figures in 5 of the 6 games this season for Marquette. And Gardner hits both, and a 10-2 lead for the Golden Eagles here.
And really not the kind of hole that George Washington wanted to get into against this Marquette team, who's playing some of their best defensive basketball over the last couple games.
So a timeout taken. Buzz Williams and Marquette up. Jeff Goodman checks in with more, and Buzz Williams straight ahead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2014 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award.
Greg's cries for help are pretty loud and clear. But try as he might, he just can't seem to get what he's asking for. Not like with DirecTV. With DirecTV voice control, Greg just says, "Tune to ESPN," and he gets tuned right in, lickety-split. Looks like finding some sports. Sure is a lot easier than finding that motorcycle he was attached to. Search and record with just your voice. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Look out into the world. Choose your path, and I will be there. In the blistering heat, whether the road is curved or straight, this is my purpose. So challenge me, test me, as you push yourself. We are in this together. I am your engine. You are my driver. Royal Purple, the performance lubricants that outperform.
Quickness is everywhere.
You must be quick.
All kinds of quick. Crossover.
Put the moves together. You fire your man.
You gotta be quick.
Everybody's got to be quick.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Yeah. So what do you got?
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
The Big Ten ACC Challenge begins Tuesday at 7:15 on ESPN.
Good start for number 25 Marquette, leading George Washington 10-2, 15:07 to go in the first half. Buzz Williams, the head coach of the Golden Eagles, as Jeff Goodman working with us today joins us. And Jeff, it's been an interesting ride for Buzz Williams to get to be the head coach at Marquette.
Yeah, it sure has. Here's a guy who started his career as a graduate student sweeping floors at Navarro College in Texas. He ends up leaving after New Orleans 1 year as a head coach, gives up the D1 head coaching job to join Tom Crean as an assistant. Shocking the industry when he gets the job 1 year into his tenure at Marquette. He's the head coach. Everybody expects him to fall off, this program to fall off. Instead, what he's done, 5 straight NCAA tournaments, 2 Elite Eights, and a Sweet 16. Unbelievable job establishing himself in the program with credibility.
Absolutely, Jeff, and he's putting guys in the NBA like Lazar Hayward, Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, even Darius Johnson-Odom got some run in his rookie year. But Buzz Williams has not let this program fall off, and they're the Big East favorite this season.
Maurice Creek fouled on his drive to the basket. Second foul against Marquette. And how much, Miles, he had 1 season under his belt as a head coach at the University of New Orleans. How much did that help him in terms of getting the job at Marquette?
Well, I think a lot of athletic directors and administrative, they want guys with the head coaching experience. So he gets that 1 year under his belt, and then you learn from Tom Crean, and I'm sure Tom Crean gave him a ringing endorsement to be the next head coach, and it continues, you know, it adds the continuity to the program, so there's really no fall off in the recruiting or the style of play. And Buzz Williams obviously has made that pay off for Marquette University.
The steal leads to the basket for Isaiah Armwood, who has all 4 for GW.
And now the defensive intensity is ramped up a little bit for GW.
Steve Taylor Jr. in for Marquette. 6'7" sophomore from Chicago as Devontae Gardner backs inside. Has his shot blocked by John Capriva. Out of bounds to Marquette. And Jeff, this is not the first time that Mike Lonergan and Buzz Williams have squared off.
Yeah, Buzz Williams' first game as a college head coach at the University of New Orleans came against Mike Lonergan in a 4-team event in College Park at Maryland. Lonergan came out on top. Buzz Williams remembers it vividly. 112 people, he says, were in the stands for that game, and he came up short. He has immense respect for Mike Lonergan.
Jake Thomas buries a 3, and Marquette leads it by 9.
And that was a beautiful set on the baseline out of bounds there as they screen across the floor and bring Jake Thomas to the ball side, and he catches that right in rhythm.
Off the bench, Patricio Garino is in. There is some question if he would play or not for George Washington, bothered by a fractured finger, which he aggravated right before this tournament began. The runner missed by Jake Thomas, but he is fouled and will go to the free throw line. Jake Thomas, who just buried the 3, has a chance to get a couple more points, the senior from Racine, Wisconsin.
And Garino's a guy that Coach Mike Lonergan's very high on. He's one of their best defenders. Was a starter last year, but injured his index finger on his shooting hand, has some screws placed in there. Yesterday, watching him go through warm-ups, he wouldn't even really touch the ball with his right hand. It'll be interesting if he even dribbles or how he's going to catch the ball. He shot the ball fairly smoothly, and you see the tape job on there, a little bit of padding, but he was very hesitant in warm-ups yesterday and today to even dribble or catch the basketball.
Thomas gets 1 out of 2. Lead at 10, and Garino, who missed the first 2 games of the year because of that injured finger, came back and then hurt it right before this tournament began, was really frustrated he could not play yesterday. He badly wanted to be out there with George Washington, and somehow he talked his way into this game today with Mike Lonergan, who wasn't even sure if he'd have Garino available to play today.
Yeah, I think it was more, guys, the fact of the trainer, and that's who Garino persuaded to let him get on the court. Lonergan wanted to leave this in the hands of the trainer, spoke to him right before the game, and he was actually leaning towards waiting and bringing him back against Rutgers. He wants him for A-10 play healthy.
And a steal by Jamil Wilson for Marquette, working on a 10-point lead. Another pass inside. Beautiful play, but Gardner misses it. It looked like Jake Thomas was going to pull up for the 3 at a wide open look, made the unselfish play, and now Marquette comes away with it again.
And Jake Thomas made the right play. I mean, he had just made a 3 from there, but unselfishness is sometimes contagious, and for him to pass up that shot and give Gardner the easy one, it'll pay off later in this game, even though Gardner missed that little chippy. And now the 1-3-1 zone, which really frustrated the Miami Hurricanes yesterday. They got to get shooters open in the corners. And Jake Thomas right on cue, knocking it down. Great rhythm jump shot. Had an excellent game Monday night against the ASU Sun Devils.
The transfer from South Dakota is second 3. He once hit 10 threes in a game while playing for South Dakota against Chicago State when he put up 40 points.
It's a young man that almost transferred this spring, but then when Vander Blue decided he was going to go to the NBA, it opened up some more playing time, and Jake Thomas felt that still this was the best place for him, and now he's earned a starting spot.
John Capriva with the follow for George Washington. Capriva, an interesting story. Junior from Milwaukee, played his high school basketball at Marquette University High School. So big day for him. Steve Taylor Jr. misses inside. George Washington pushes. Patricio Garino to the basket, and he easily puts it through.
And that has to be a confidence builder, not only for GW, but for Garino. Couple things. He caught the ball with his right hand, put it down with his right, and then was able to dunk that basketball, all with the injured finger.
The sophomore from Argentina with the bucket. Inside, Devontae Gardner. The follow for the weak side by Juan Anderson.
Juan Anderson's just flying around. He's a young man that gets 1 rebound in almost less than 4 minutes of action that he plays in. That's a great rebounding percentage and number.
Garino lines up a 3. And Jamil Wilson clears. Here comes Marquette. Trap in the corner on Anderson, and a steal by Joe McDonald. One-on-one with Jamil Wilson to the basket, and he scoops it up and in.
Nice job by Joe McDonald, first on the defensive end. because there was only one place for Juan Anderson to throw that pass because of the way that his shoulders were facing. McDonald played it perfectly, and then the beautiful finish.
And again, the zone look from the Colonials.
Garino wants to bait them into being a three-point shooting team.
Jamil Wilson misses. Kevin Larson the rebound. GW has it within single digits now. Nemanja Mikic from the corner rattles out the three, and the rebound cleared by Marquette. Good look from Mikic, who's a 52% three-point shooter on the season.
Well, look at this lineup that Marquette has in. No true point guard on the floor. Jamil Wilson playing the point forward right now for the Marquette Golden Eagles.
Devontae Gardner stepping out and missed the three.
That just shows Wilson's versatility guarding Joe McDonald. He started this game at power forward, and now he switched over to the point guard position.
Patricio Garino missing everything. Nine-point lead for the Golden Eagles.
Marquette needs to space it out, should have guys in the gaps everywhere.
And a steal again by Joe McDonald. 3-on-2. Garino to the basket, contact and a foul. And a hard fall by Patricio Garino to the deck. And the block called against Jamil Wilson of Marquette, his second foul.
And Juan Anderson, he's been flying around early in this game. Watch him coming from the weak side to throw it down. The California native showing out.
It's in the way we work and the way we compete. It's in the way we reach out and why we dream. Titan pride is at the heart of who we are.
Whether it's on the field or on stage, in the classroom or in the boardroom, Titans reach higher.
My skin's so dry and itchy right there. Oh, makes me crazy.
Relief starts now. Gold Bond Extra Strength Medicated Lotion. 5 intensive moisturizers and an extra strength itch fighter. Soothe skin so you feel good all day. Gold Bond. Relief starts now.
How do I spell heartburn relief?
Come on, there's only one way.
R-O-L-A-I-D-S, that's how I spell it.
Rolaids starts working instantly, neutralizing 44% more acid than Tums.
Relief is good.
Rolaids, that's how you spell relief.
Don't miss Menard's two-day super sale. Doors open at 6 a.m. Friday for incredible deals. This 6-piece garage kit includes a jack stands, creeper, and wheel chocks. $39.99 after rebate. A Performax 104-piece oscillating tool kit is just $29.99. This 15-piece Anchor bakeware set is $9.99 after rebate. Gourmet cookie mixes, pie filling, or recipe tins, only $4.99 each. Friday and Saturday only during Menard's two-day super sale.
ESPN's coverage of the NIT season tip-off concludes tonight in the championship when Duke takes on Arizona. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, and also live at Watch ESPN. Championship game is part of ESPN's Journey to the Tourney presented by Sonic. A season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Miles, so much focus on the freshmen and Aaron Gordon, Jabari Parker. What do you see as the key to the matchup between Arizona and Duke tonight at the Garden?
Well, I think first for the Arizona Wildcats, is Caleb Tarczewski going to be able to be a factor in this game? When Duke goes to their small lineup, and they will at some point with Jabari Parker at the 5, is he going to be able to stay on the floor and be able to guard a Parker or a Hood, or is Sean Miller going to have to take him out of the game and continue with Ashley and Gordon at the post positions? Nick Johnson will be a key in that game because he's a junior. He's been in big games before. And then I think for Duke, Rodney Hood, his production, he's had some huge games already this season, but only 8 points last game against Alabama, and he fouled out. He's going to have to be a key contributor tonight.
Patricio Garino misses the first. 19-10, Marquette with the lead. 1 out of 2 for the sophomore from Argentina, and George Washington within 8. But that's going to be a tremendous matchup tonight. Duke and Arizona right here on ESPN. Marquette already 4 of 7 beyond the arc. They're just 2 of 11 inside the three-point arc. which is not really the style that Marquette plays. This is what they do, going inside. Devontae Gardner gets the roll off the front edge of the rim.
Gardner's pretty agile for being such a big guy. He's lost weight in each of his 4 years in a Marquette uniform, and there he's kind of nimble, goes a little bit up and under. I mean, he was literally only about probably 3 inches off the ground, maybe 2 to 3 inches off the ground, but the hang time was there as he glided across underneath the rim, avoided the defenders, and then the soft touch to lay it in.
Maurice Creek to shoot 2 here as Jake Thomas called for his first foul. Creek 15 of 16 from the line this year, misses the first one.
Creek's a young man that was very highly touted coming out of high school, signed with Indiana. As a freshman, was averaging 16 points a game before injury, 31 against Kentucky. But he's finally healthy this year. Left kneecap fracture as a freshman, a stress fracture in his patella, and then a torn Achilles. But now he's saying he's feeling the best he's ever felt in his career. The strength and conditioning coach for GW has him in great shape, more flexibility. And we saw yesterday he was very agile. I know he's a three-point shooter, but he was getting to the rim early in that game.
He already graduated from Indiana and was, as you said, a prolific scorer early in his Indiana career before the injuries kind of got a hold of him. And now a chance to flourish in the offense running through him a bit at George Washington.
Mo Creek's really changed his game, guys. I mean, he used to be a slasher, an athlete. He still says he's got some pop left, but he's become more of a shooter and our leader for this team, which is extremely important for Mike Lonergan.
Shot missed by Todd Mayo, the younger brother of NBA standout, and former USC Trojan O.J. Mayo. Comes off the bench, averaging 11.5 points a game. A lot of firepower off the Marquette bench. Thomas is at the hot hand, off the mark. Derek Wilson runs it down for the Golden Eagles, who reset here.
And that's the first time I can really say that Marquette has taken a questionable shot here in the first half. That was a contested three with a little bit of a fadeaway. Probably didn't need it, could have worked the ball around a little bit more.
Foul against George Washington, 7 offensive rebounds already for the Golden Eagles, but some concern, Devontae Gardner a bit banged up. 9-point lead for Marquette.
Last play of the game, folks. Manning throws. Touchdown.
Hey, Peyton, what are you doing?
Tossing the dough. Just like you said. You want to throw one?
For just $11, get Papa John's new Chipotle chicken and bacon pizza. That's right, only $11 for a large. Plus, try our new mega chocolate chip cookie, just $5.
Nice, smooth. Peyton?
I'm good.
I think I have the window seat.
You better double check that, my friend. Don't think we don't know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not it. You're that State Farm discount double check guy. Discount double check. Thanks to the hundreds you saved us, we could upgrade the grill class.
Grill class?
Your tongs are in your seat back.
Save with the discount double check today. Get to a better state. State Farm.
Dude, I'm like twice as big.
Does this have to do with Cheez-It Big Crackers being twice as big?
Look, I've been blasting my pecs, stilts, abdominals, trapezes.
We take the time for our real cheese to mature before we bake it into our twice as big Big Cracker. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters.
This Black Friday, you could get the gift that says, I love you, but you're fat. Or this Fender Squire Strat for just 89 bucks. This, or this Kohala ukulele for just 25 bucks. This Black Friday, give the greatest feeling on earth at Guitar Center.
Quickness is everywhere.
If you're a big man, you gotta be quick to block the shots.
Float off the floor and swat that ball out the way. Go get it. Go get dirty work. You gotta be quick at every level.
The Adidas Crazy Girls puts quick everywhere. But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Steve Weissman in studio. Check this out. First game of the Hardwood Challenge. Pacific taking on number 14 Oregon. Both teams coming in 4-0. Trevin Harris had 3 triples in the first half. Game high 12 points. And how about this? The Tigers, a 7-point lead right now. Roxy and Miles.
Wow, a surprise, Steve, up in Eugene. The newcomers, the WCC Pacific, giving Oregon all they can handle. And Oklahoma State got all they could handle for Butler earlier today, but held on to go to the championship game of the Old Spice Classic in Orlando. Feast Week presented by Lowe's. And Marcus Smart at 30 points against Purdue, and then 17 more today, leading Oklahoma State to the championship there in Orlando.
Well, two guys that returned to college basketball this year, and Doug McDermott and Marcus Smart, they're trying to make people remember them also. It's not all about the freshmen, but those returning guys are pretty special.
Marquette leading it by 9.
Look at the ball movement. Not sticking in anyone's hands, but they almost passed up a couple good shots to try to get a better one, and then they get caught with the 3-second violation.
6 turnovers now for Buzz Williams' Marquette Golden Eagles. And despite shooting just 5 of 18 from the field, George Washington and 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. And they're getting out rebounded by 9. Kind of hanging in there just a little bit here and trying to stay within reach of Marquette. Good defense again by the Golden Eagles. Devontae Gardner showing a burst to the basket. The big man puts it up and in.
Roxy, I was just telling you on that last post move, he's much more nimble and active than he has been in past years. Before, he wouldn't be able to do that, to catch that ball at the top of the key and go 2 dribbles and go by another defender. Excellent job by the big fella.
Keithan Savage has his shot blocked, but a foul call against Marquette and a couple of free throws.
And here we go back a couple minutes ago, and George Washington, Paris Morocco's just trying to be physical in the post, trying to bang down low. Gardner was going to get position on the block, and he takes a shot in his back. And I know that doesn't feel too well. I've taken a few of those over my time when I was playing.
Keithan Savage at the line. Sophomore from Fairfax, Virginia. Now 7 of 9 at the line this year. Second foul on Derek Wilson of Marquette. Now 6 on the Golden Eagles.
Savage, for being a guard, is shooting an unbelievably high percentage this season. 70% going into today's game. He's really a slasher and a driver. Doesn't shoot too many 3-point shots, but they'll need him to be effective today to try to break down this Marquette defense.
That reaction from Gardner is the reaction you have every day working with me. Jake Thomas has his shot blocked inside, gets it back, fouled by Isaiah Armwood. And Jake Thomas will go to the foul line.
Smart play by Jake Thomas. Sets his man who's been being denied out to the 3-point line. Most young men love to carry out and continue on to try to catch the pass towards half court. He gives the hard backdoor cut, and Devontae Gardner rewards him with the nice pass.
Miles, you mentioned Jake Thomas was gone. I mean, he was on the transfer wire this past offseason, and then Vanderbilt decides to leave early, make an ill-advised decision, and Jake Thomas told me he came back largely because of the minutes that were there for him this year.
And Jeff, you would know about the transfer wire more than anyone, because that comprehensive list that you throw out every spring is unbelievable, and it's like great reading for about 15 minutes to go through every name on the transfer wire.
I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, and you know what? It's fun to do, but it gets bigger and bigger every year, and that's a problem we have in college basketball right now.
Guys, I'm going to pose this to you as you bring that up. It gets bigger and bigger, Jeff, as you say. What can be done in college basketball to try to get it back to the way it was so we don't see as many transfers in college basketball?
Well, I think really all these waivers that are being given out for fifth-year kids graduate, you're giving kids waivers because their grandmother's sick or their cousin's sick. What they have to do is they have to make a rule here so that no matter what, you have somebody ill in your family, you have to sit out, take care of them. Go back and take care of them for the year, because right now, too many kids are taking advantage of the transfer rule.
And I agree with you, Jeff. I think it has to be a universal rule across college basketball where if you're going to transfer, you're going to have to sit out.
Isaiah Armwood at the line for a 1-and-1. We'll get one more. He has 5 points, and he's a transfer himself from Villanova. You look at both rosters, and there's a handful of transfers on both George Washington and Marquette.
And I think the graduate transfer is the one that gets a little bit shaky and dangerous, because now if you're a mid-major coach, let's take DeAndre Kane, for example. Played at Marshall. We did their game last week against BYU. DeAndre Kane is a legitimate player, an NBA prospect. has averaged over 15 points a game in his first 3 years at Marshall. So he graduates now. And he told us, point blank, that he wanted to play at a higher level and prove himself in a Power 6 conference. And so now Marshall loses an all-league player, and that can change the fate of a team from maybe being a Marshall team that could be favored to win the league to now finishing in the middle of the pack.
And not to single out a guy, for example, like Mike Moser at Oregon, who's already on his 3rd different school he's played at, as a 3 is knocked down by Todd Mayo, and Marquette has equaled their largest lead of this first half.
And Todd Mayo's a guy that they want to get going because he's such an electric scorer for this team. Sat out Monday's game at ASU. Didn't play so well yesterday, even though Marquette was in a blowout. But they'll need Todd Mayo if they want to compete in the Big East and win the Big East Conference title.
Mayo to the basket. Rattles and goes for Todd Mayo with 5 quick points. And Marquette has doubled up George Washington inside 5:20 to go until halftime. Largest lead for Marquette. Real danger zone here for the Colonials. Isaiah Armwood to the basket, wave it off. He's called for an offensive foul. His 2nd personal foul. And real difficulty now for George Washington, and Mike Lonergan wants time.
And Isaiah Armwood just a little bit out of his comfort zone. There you see the hook, plain as day. The hook on Deontay Burton, and Armwood, he's not a perimeter ball handler. And the offensive foul is called, and Marquette really doing a number on the defensive end.
So a timeout used by George Washington. 30-15, number 25 Marquette leading the Colonials in the semifinals of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy at Titan Gym on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. And what can George Washington do? Marquette has put a nice run together here. They pushed the lead to 15. What does GW, Miles, need to do to get back into this one?
Well, first of all, I think they need to get Mo Creek some more shots. He's your leading scorer, about 17 points a game this season. He's a guy, you got to find some shots for Maurice Creek. Maybe get him on track, get him even to the foul line. He has to look to be more aggressive in a game like this. He has to have more of a dominating performance. And there you see Mayo just coming off the little dribble handoff, receives a little brush screen, and now he's feeling it. Ultra aggressive, turns the corner tight, the little hesitation, and the soft touch off the glass with a little bit of English on it.
So Todd Mayo, the younger brother of Milwaukee Bucks guard O.J. Mayo, has had a rough go of it at Marquette, trying to fight through an ankle injury right now. But as Miles alluded to, Jeff, he's a key figure for Buzz Williams once the Golden Eagles get into Big East play.
Yeah, Buzz loves his toughness. He loves his ability to create and score points. They don't have a lot of big-time scorers on this team, losing Vanderblue, losing Trent Lockett from last year's team. But Mayo is a guy that also can hurt the offense. The ball tends to stick in his hands quite often. He's got to learn to move the ball, involve other players on his team. And if he can do that and pick his spots, he can be a real effective scorer player for this team.
And Jeff, I think he's a guy, when you watch a game, so he sat out Monday's game against ASU where they took him right down to the wire on the road, and you watch your teammates grinding and battling out there and sharing the basketball. You almost have no choice but to buy into that. And then yesterday's game, they jump on Cal State Fullerton. The ball was moving so fast and free yesterday. And there you see Todd Mayo making a play. He's more than capable of being an unselfish guy. He doesn't just have to be a scorer, do things on the defensive end, because this is a Marquette team that doesn't have the star power that we talked about in the past. But it's a balanced team that, you know, has a toughness identity is what Buzz Williams wants every year.
Ethan Savage missing from point-blank range. And the rebound, Kevin Larson for GW. Double clutch shot, short from Isaiah Armwood. Ethan Savage keeps it alive. Stripped, stolen away by Devontae Gardner and Marquette.
Armwood actually had an easy 15-foot shot wide open. He dribbled into a tougher contested 8-footer.
Gardner to the basket, 9-0 run for the Golden Eagles, and a 19-point Marquette lead, and another GW timeout, their 3rd of the first half.
And there's our guy, Todd Mayo, making another play. He scores a couple baskets, now 2 straight assists. He gets in the paint. I believe Todd Mayo can do more things than just score the basketball. Wilson with the unselfish play. He's trying to find somebody. The excellent dish to Deontay Burton there on the first one. And then Mayo with a beautiful no-look drop-off to a diving Devontae Gardner. This Marquette team clicking on all cylinders here in Fullerton.
And the preseason favorite in the Big East, certainly looking like it in this first half against George Washington, who came in at 5-0. This is a GW team, 5-0 for the first time since 2005-2006. And yesterday, when George Washington knocked off Miami in overtime, it was the first victory for Mike Lonergan, now in year 3 at GW, over a BCS team. And granted, Miami's a bit down from where they were last year as the ACC champs, but it's still a power conference win and a big step for George Washington.
Well, Mike Lonergan has this program going in the right direction. He's recruiting locally, which there's a lot of talent in the DMV area. He's got some international players on there too. And then, you get the transfers in Creek and Armwood, who basically just came back home to the Maryland area. And now you're really building, and in year 3, he now has his recruits in there that are going to play to his style. So credit to Mike Lonergan having George Washington going on an upward direction.
Reach and foul against Todd Mayo. A 1-and-1 coming up for George Washington. Needs to put together a run late in the first half.
You coming? You coming? You coming? You coming?
Yeah. Instigators, ringleaders, enablers. You make what happens here happen.
Saturday, the Surging Tigers can clinch their first SEC East title, but the Aggies, led by Johnny Football, look to play the spoiler, and bitter rivals battle for LA. The Bruins and Trojans face off at the Coliseum. ESPN College Football Primetime, Texas A&M, Missouri at 7:45, and Saturday Night Football on ABC, UCLA, USC at 8 Eastern. Saturday, college football lives here.
We finally made our first move. With Uverse, we were able to pack up our DVR and keep all our recorded shows because we moved locally. We earned a $300 reward card for transferring our service to our new home. We also added a wireless receiver so we can set up the room the way we want, no matter where the TV outlet is. Uverse made moving easy, so we're already feeling right at home.
I must admit, I fell under the sway of Clyde Barrow.
I had a blind spot a mile wide when it came to Bonnie Parker.
When the crime started, I couldn't stop him.
After tonight, nothing was ever gonna be the same.
I never introduced myself. I'm Bonnie Parker. Ally, Bonnie, and Clyde.
Mazda halftime report. #1 Michigan State opened with 3 of their stars on the bench. How they were still able to reach a new benchmark. And we are less than 2 hours from the biggest matchup of the day, Duke, Arizona. Who's the better freshman, Jabari Parker or Aaron Gordon? Seth Greenberg, me and you at the half.
All right, Steve, some good talent on display at Titan Gym in Fullerton in the DirecTV Wooden Legacy. And the winner of this game will take on the winner of the nightcap tonight, and a great one between San Diego State and #20 Creighton, of course, led by Doug McDermott. And that's going to be a tremendous matchup and a great performance, Miles. Last night, Creighton dismantled a very good Arizona State team.
And I think when you think Creighton, you think offense and the things that Doug McDermott does, but defensively, the game plan that they had against Carson and the Arizona State Sun Devils was phenomenal. They were switching a lot of the ball screens. Even Doug McDermott switching on to Carson, they really corralled him and did an excellent job of containing him and making everything tough on Jahi Carson, who's one of the best point guards in the country.
Maurice Creek hits both free throws, silencing the Marquette run, but it's still a 17-point lead for the Golden Eagles. 3.5 minutes to go until halftime. Todd Mayo from the corner buries a 3 as John Capriva all over him defensively, and Mayo with his second 3.
Much more aggressive than what we saw yesterday. Even though it was a blowout game yesterday, Mayo really didn't look too into the game, but today he's dialed in.
Ethan Savage shot block, gets it back and puts it in underneath. The Marquette now 6 of 10 from downtown. They came into this game, first 6 games of the year, it's shooting at 25% from 3. And a turnover by Marquette to George Washington.
Well, we know about their anemic performance at home against Ohio State, where they only scored 35 points. They now have 37 points, 17 minutes into the first half of this game. This is a team that can score. It's just going to be more of a balanced attack this year. Gardner can do it. Jamil Wilson. We know what Mayo can do. Jake Thomas has had double-figure games already.
Thomas leads Marquette with 9, 8 each for Devontae Gardner and Todd Mayo's. Maurice Creek starting to get it going for GW.
And Maurice Creek, if I'm Maurice Creek in a game like this, sometimes I'm going to have to seek out my own shot because I'm the leading scorer, the best player on this GW team. Sometimes I have to be a little bit selfish against a power conference team or a higher rated team just to kind of carry my teammates a little bit through the first half, put them on my back somewhat, and then let them follow my lead.
Foul against John Capriva of GW, his first. And Devontae Gardner, 2 of 2 at the line. Will shoot a pair here. 8th team foul on the Colonials. One more coming for Gardner. 12 career starts for Gardner, who's very comfortable coming off the bench. All of his starts came during his sophomore season, and some guys, Miles, are just suited to coming off the bench, and they get into a better rhythm watching the first few minutes from the sideline.
Well, I think it's also a credit to Gardner's personality in that he's more about the team than about his numbers. He knows he's going to get a ton of minutes. He's going to get touches in the post. And, you know, too many young men come into college worrying about starting, playing a lot of minutes. How many shots am I going to get? Devontae Gardner just worries about winning.
Tough shot missed in the baseline by Joe McDonald. And there's Gardner again. Out of bounds. Last touch by George Washington. And as you talked about his old man game yesterday, he's so good below the rim. Is that part of it, an appreciation and the high basketball IQ and understanding a role and how he fits into the system at Marquette?
Well, he has a phenomenal skill set. He has a soft touch from the outside, even though he really only shoots, you know, a set shot from the perimeter.
Gets the basket and one for Keithan Savage.
But he's an excellent rebounder because he uses his body and angles and positioning to get in position for rebounds. And here, George Washington, they're going to need a lot more of this. Keithan Savage just attacking the basket, taking the contact, and finishing off the glass.
Second foul on Jake Thomas, and one free throw for Savage, 1 of 2 at the line. Missing the free throw. And Mayo runs down the rebound for Marquette. Foul difficulty for Marquette. Derek Wilson, Jake Thomas, and Jamil Wilson, 2 fouls apiece here. Final 95 seconds of the first half.
And this 1-3-1 bothered him for about a couple of possessions, but really Marquette has solved it as of late.
Gardner has his shot blocked, gets it back and puts it in.
And you see what they're doing. They're getting into the gaps of the 1-3-1. They're splitting the wing and the top guy, making the defense collapse, and then a beautiful drop-off to Gardner there.
And now an offensive foul. Kevin Larson called for a shove, trying to post up on Gardner. And a second on Kevin Larson, team foul number 9 on George Washington.
And here we see Kevin Larson just trying to go post up down low.
I think he sold him a little bit.
Come on, Devontae Gardner's 290 pounds. He is not going to be moved that easily by Kevin Larson. And Kevin Larson has some good strength to him. But Devontae Gardner really sold that one.
Here is Gardner. Final minute of this first half. And a three that rattles and goes. John Dawson hits his first 3 of his young Marquette career.
Watching Anthony Gardner play in the post, I don't know, I kind of had just a flashback to Anthony Mason from the New York Knicks. Anthony Mason was pretty much a non-athlete, but he was a big body down low. Wasn't a great shooter, but was super skilled with the way he could pass and finish around the basket. And I love the patience there by Gardner. Double team got faked at him. He didn't really pick up his dribble, and then he finds the open guy.
Second foul on Todd Mayo, and Maurice Creek will go to the line. Largest lead for Marquette with 42.9 left in the half. 44-24. And Marquette continues to rain threes here in the first half. There's a little blood on Todd Mayo here. But the Golden Eagles are 7 of 11 from downtown. An official's timeout here is there is some blood on the court that needs to be wiped up as Todd Mayo getting looked at by the athletic trainer for the Golden Eagles, and a tremendous first half by Marquette. Buzz Williams needs to be pleased with what he's seen from his team in the first half here against George Washington.
Absolutely. They're really playing unselfishly. Everybody's sharing the basketball, and we go back to our one-on-one. This is where they have their advantage. Points in the paint. Otule, who's the starting five-man, got it going early. And then Devontae Gardner, the big fella, and the leading scorer on this Marquette team, attacking from the block, attacking from the outside. Then Todd Mayo, the unselfishness to the freshman Deontay Burton. This is a team that doesn't just settle for perimeter jump shots. They share the basketball, make the unselfish play, the extra pass, and it's paying off, especially in the last two games, as they have been dominant inside of the painted area.
And we caught up with Buzz Williams at their practice, Miles, here on Wednesday. And even though they lost to Arizona State Monday night, it was a huge positive step in terms of this team, because Buzz Williams really felt the team found their identity in that loss to Arizona State in Tempe Monday night.
Yeah, and when he made that statement to us, I asked him, I said, well, what is your identity? And he said, Marquette basketball's identity is to play hard, dive on the floor, take charges, pick each other up, have high energy, play with toughness, and be physical. And he named quite a few other things that are part of it. But he said, even in the loss, his team found their identity, and they did those things for the whole game. And so far, it's carried on into the first two games of this tournament.
One more shot for Maurice Creek. He's now 3 of 5 at the line in this first half. And against the second, he has 7 to lead the Colonials. About a 7-second differential between the shot clock and the half clock for Marquette. So Marquette, who defeated the host Cal State Fullerton here yesterday. George Washington, an overtime win against Miami. But an impressive first half from Marquette coming to a close here. They'll take a timeout with 10 on the shot clock to try to design a play, and Buzz Williams will try to get another hoop here as we get close to the end of the first half. But really a tremendous performance, Miles, when you look at what Marquette has done here in this first half of play against an undefeated team in George Washington.
Well, they really came out just firing on all cylinders. They were pumped up for this game to get going and maybe try to get it to the championship. But it's been plenty of guys. It's been Jake Thomas, Devontae Gardner, Jamil Wilson, who had a great game yesterday, has really been silenced for most of the first half. But Buzz Williams has his team going in the right direction right now.
A tough first half for Mike Lonergan and George Washington here. And they were really pumped up about this game also, because yesterday when they knocked off Miami, they defeated a power conference team for the first time, and here had a chance to take on a Big East team as they really try to build this George Washington program. And he's made incremental steps. They won 10 games his first year, 13 last year, and have really made strides here in year 3.
And Buzz Williams, a teachable moment for their freshman John Dawson. Couldn't get him into the set that they wanted, called a timeout, and now they're getting a point-blank shot by Devontae Gardner.
And Gardner follows his own miss. 21-point lead. Creek with 3 seconds. Keithan Savage a 3. And that takes us to the end of the first half, and the largest lead for the Marquette Golden Eagles, 46-25. They lead George Washington by 21 points here at the break. So the George Washington Colonials, excuse me, will try to regroup here, but the Marquette faithful have made the trip from Milwaukee here to Southern California, enjoying what they have seen in the first half of play. And a tremendous performance by Marquette. And Jeff Goodman is standing by with the coach of Marquette, Buzz Williams.
I think our ball movement's good. I think we're doing a lot better job, Goody, of keeping the ball out of the channel. That's where Fullerton was whipping us yesterday. The ball just kept coming to the channel and forcing rotation. I think defensively we've done better at that.
Thanks, Buzz. Good luck.
All right, Jeff. 46-25. Marquette leads. Now let's go to the studio. Steve Weissman and Seth Greenberg with the Mazda halftime report.
All right, thanks, Roxy. This is the Mazda halftime report, and we had a thriller earlier today. Oklahoma State and Butler. That means Marcus Smart, the super sophomore for the Cowboys, We picked this one up late second half. Oak stayed up 7. Smart doing what Smart does. He finished with 17 in this ball game.
Marcus Smart's ability to put the ball on the ground, pull up, and knock down a jumper is the difference in his game this year.
But final 5 possessions, these teams were 0 for 6 from the field, 1 of 7 from the free throw line. Smart missed 2, and then under 15 to play, Kyle Marshall is fouled. After Marshall missed his first free throw, he misses his second as well. And this issue as a coach, I mean, you got to hate to see this. You got a chance to take the lead. Your guy misses 2 free throws.
It's part of the game. Great draw by Dunham, drawing a second defender, giving Marshall a chance to get to the glass. And this last possession, terrific job of Michael Cobbins, keeping the game in front, contesting without fouling, and obviously a great win for Oklahoma State.
2-point win for the Cowboys over Butler. What a finish there with a block at the end. Seth Greenberg, Steve Weissman with you on the Mazda Halftime Report. Now for Oklahoma State, listen, they had a 23-point halftime lead over Purdue yesterday. That was cut down to 4. Today, it was a 14-point lead at the half, and you saw Butler come back. What's going on with the Cowboys in the second half?
First, it's a 40-minute game. And number 2 is Butler is Butler. You've got to beat Butler. They're not going to beat themselves. 5 turnovers in the first half for Butler, a couple of live ball turnovers. When Butler can set their defense and keep you in front, when Butler can make it a half-court game and execute offensively, they're hard to play against. In the first half, Marcus Smart does a really nice job of getting in his pass lane, knocking it away. Great job of recognizing, and great job of Brian Williams finishing. But in the second half, they did a nice job of setting their defense early to help, what I call shrinking the court, getting the help spots. Good front of the low post. Good shrink of the court on the backside. Look, you see 4 defenders in the paint. Good early help, hands straight up. Marcus Smart, he takes a tough, contested shot. He's looking for a foul. But the reality is when Butler can get you at their tempo, set their defense, and get the game into a half-court game and execute offensively, they get back in the game. And I thought that Oklahoma State settled a little bit in the second half. 10 of their 27 shots were threes. They need to continue to pound it inside.
Oklahoma State 7-0 for the first time since 2006. Speaking of perfect teams, Michigan State is the #1 team in the country, but Tom Izzo, he sat 3 of his best players to start the game. We'll tell you why, and if Sparty was able to bounce back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Tyco Integrated Security. Safer, smarter, Tyco.
Look out into the world. Choose your path, and I will be there. In the blistering heat, whether the road is curved or straight, this is my purpose. So challenge me, test me, as you push yourself. We are in this together. I am your engine. You are my driver. Royal Purple, the performance lubricants that outperform.
At Scottrade, our clients are always learning more to make their money do more.
To help me plan my next move, I take Scottrade's free in-branch seminars, plus their live webinars. I use daily market commentary to improve my strategy. And my local Scottrade office guides my learning every step of the way, because they know I don't trade like everybody. I trade like me. I'm with Scottrade.
Ranked highest in investor satisfaction with self-directed services by J.D. Power & Associates.
Quickness is everywhere.
Spin move. Spin on my man. The spin move can be very effective. I broke the dude. Collegiate level, pro level, high school.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Finish at the rim.
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
When it's time to talk security for your business, talk to the business security leader, Tyco Integrated Security. We'll do a security review of your business to understand your needs, customize an integrated solution that meets your specific challenges, and deliver it all with responsive local service and a personal passion to help you protect your business. We'll even give you the power to manage it all right from the palm of your hand. Call us for our free security review. Tyco Integrated Security. Safer, smarter, Tyco.
Welcome back to the Mazda Halftime Report.
Steve and Seth back with you. Tom Izzo. No Keith Appling, Adrian Payne, or Brendan Dawson to start the game for Michigan State. Classroom attendance issues taking on Mount St. Mary's today. First half, Denzel Valentine. This team, 7 of 11 shooting. Michigan State goes up 4 later in the half. How about Keith Appling? Said after getting to #1, we've been getting everyone's best shot.
No player's more important for his team's championship run than Keith Appling. He's got to play as his play starter, playmaker, but he can finish.
28 assists for Sparty and more from Valentine. What makes him so special?
I call him a ball guard. His versatility, his ability to see plays early. He also had 7 assists.
Michigan State goes on to win, and time for our freshman focus. In less than 2 hours, about an hour and a half until we get Duke and Arizona right here on ESPN. That means Jabari Parker going up against Aaron Gordon. Parker, first freshman to score at least 20 points in each of his first 7 games since Eric Gordon in 2007. And Aaron Gordon, 4 double-doubles in his first 6 games to lead the Wildcats to a 6-0 start. Absolutely incredible. What do you like about these two guys?
Well, Jabari Parker, when you talk about him, you talk about versatility. He can rebound the ball, initiate the fast break. He shoots the ball with range, and he can post up. Almost impossible to game plan for. And then on the other side, Aaron Gordon, his ability to run the floor and get to the offensive glass. He averages over 3 offensive rebounds a game.
As you know, Coach, it's a team game. Who else are you looking out for in this ball game?
The best player in Arizona is Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson's a 6'4" junior. Everyone thought he was going to be a one-and-done guy, but Nick Johnson, terrific middle game, excellent on-ball defender, can shoot the ball with range, but more importantly, he gives this Arizona team some maturity. Great in transition and can really finish. And Rodney Hood, if they didn't have Jabari Parker, Rodney Hood, you talk about versatility, a left-hander who can shoot the ball with range. He can put it on the floor. He can play 4 or 5. Terrific in transition. Now, on the other side, he's got to work defensively. A lot of teams are attacking him off the bounce defensively, but offensively, extremely skilled, finishes, and can make plays.
Rodney Hood, just the 3rd sophomore to be named a captain for Duke, and the first guy to never play a minute. Transfer from Mississippi State, stayed out last year, but worked really hard. Coach K loves what Rodney Hood brings to the Blue Devils. And, of course, it all goes down 6 Eastern. It's about, hour and 25 minutes away. Duke, Arizona, the game you do not want to miss. That's tonight, also on Watch ESPN. We'll be right back.
This halftime report is presented by Mazda. It takes conviction, creativity, and courage to build cars worth driving. This is the Mazda way. What do you drive?
Shoot. Go away.
The squirrels just aren't listening to Dave. No, they don't seem to care what he says.
Back off.
But his DirecTV sure does. With DirecTV voice control, Dave can just say, find kids' movies, and his young'uns are neck-deep in family fun. Oh, if only getting the squirrels to stop was as easy as getting a little Ice Age. Search and record with just your voice. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Mine was earned orbiting the moon in 1971.
Afghanistan in 2009. On the USS Saratoga in 1982.
Once it's earned, USAA Auto Insurance is often handed down from generation to generation because it offers a superior level of protection and because USAA's commitment to serve current and former military members and their families is without equal. Begin your legacy. Get an auto insurance quote. USAA. We know what it means to serve.
Quickness is everywhere.
Spin move. Spin on my man.
The spin move can be very effective.
I broke the dude. Collegiate level, pro level, high school.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Finish at the rim.
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Cheez-It Zings are bold, like game day fans, which means they are...
Awesome!
No.
Super!
A
magical? A magical! I knew I'd get it.
Just say amazings.
Yeah, a magical.
2 nights, 12 games. The Big Ten ACC Challenge on the home court of college hoops. Indiana-Syracuse and Michigan-Duke Tuesday. And Maryland-Ohio State and North Carolina-Michigan State Wednesday on ESPN.
This halftime report is presented by Mazda. It takes conviction, creativity, and courage to build cars worth driving. This is the Mazda way. What do you drive?
All right, a little college football action for you. This one over on ABC right now, Miami and Pittsburgh. Stephen Morris, screen pass to Stacy Coley, and he's got 2 receiving touchdowns today. Miami, 24-7 right now in the second quarter. Elsewhere, SEC battle. LSU trailing Arkansas at home in Baton Rouge, 17-14. This one in the third quarter right now. And for LSU, how about this? Zach Mettenberger, already an interception, not the game he wants right now, as they look to improve their bowl chances and get in a better one. Back to college hoops, Pacific and Oregon. Dana Altman and company taking on the Tigers, and both teams 4-0 coming into this. And well, Pacific would light it up. Trevin Harris. Later, Pacific still on top. More from Harris. Clanks in the 3. Those rims doing him good. Pacific goes up by 10 at that point. Right before the half, though, Ducks still in it. Jonathan Lloyd between the legs to Mike Moser. Another one of those impact transfers.
Mike Moser, UNLV transfer, very versatile, can shoot it, and a really good offensive rebounder. And another transfer, James Young from Houston. He can really score it, runs the floor and finishes. More importantly, the 2 transfers, they combined for 28 points so far.
Incredible. That tied it up, and now Oregon going for the lead. Moser, and here's your guy Young. Plus the foul. Right now, the Ducks have come all the way back. They're up 11 halfway through the second half. Well, Devontae Gardner is doing large things for Marquette. He's a big man as well. Devontae Gardner and the Golden Eagles up 21 at the break. Second half next.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Gildan, we make your new favorite activewear, underwear, and socks. Gildan, every thread counts.
Last play of the game, folks. Manning throws. Touchdown.
Hey, Peyton, what are you doing?
Tossing the dough. Just like you said. You want to throw one?
For just $11, get Papa John's new Chipotle chicken and bacon pizza. That's right, only $11 for a large. Plus, try our new mega chocolate chip cookie, just $5.
Nice and smooth. Peyton?
I'm good.
Quickness is everywhere.
You must be quick.
All kinds of quick. Crossover.
Put the moves together. You fire your man.
You gotta be quick.
Everybody's gotta be quick.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Yeah, so what do you got?
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
For more than 60 years, Wrangler's been making jeans more comfortable. They feel good and wear strong. To me, Wrangler jeans are the most comfortable jeans you'll ever wear. And that's guaranteed.
Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans are built with a U-shaped construction. They don't cut into you like jeans with a V pattern.
No matter what you're doing or where you're going, nothing beats Wrangler comfort. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans, guaranteed.
You know the name. We started selling automobiles back in '46. 3 generations and still going strong. Because the same values that make Uptown a pleasure to deal with rank them highest in customer satisfaction. Trade up to a brand new Focus with great features like the Sync media system, touchscreen navigation, and heated seats. Uptown will make your Focus affordable with 0% financing for 66 months. For the best deal, you gotta go Uptown.
Let Subway take your next get-together to the next level with Subway Caters, featuring good-to-go boxed meals with a side and freshly baked cookie, our crowd-pleasing giant subs, and piled high sandwich platters that are only around $35. Made the way you say with everything you love, like jalapenos and Chipotle Southwest sauce. Subway Catering is fast, easy, and affordable. Call 877-360-CATER or visit Subway.com. Give them what they love, no matter what the occasion. Subway, cater fresh.
ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
Welcome back to the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. 46-25, Marquette leading George Washington as we're ready to start the second half here in Southern California, along with Miles Simon and Jeff Goodman. Roxy Bernstein with you, and Miles, an impressive first half from the Golden Eagles.
A dominant first half by the Marquette Golden Eagles, and they did it in a couple different ways. First, they pounded him on the inside to soften up the defense. Devontae Gardner came off the bench, had a huge first half, 14 points, 6 rebounds for the big fella down low. And then once they got softened up, then Jake Thomas took over from the outside. The Marquette Golden Eagles and Todd Mayo knocking down another 3. 7 for 11 from beyond the three-point arc. The Marquette Golden Eagles really just pounding George Washington, who had no answer for them in the first half.
DirecTV first half stats, and George Washington shooting just 26% from the field. Look at the bench points, 27-5 in favor of Marquette. Now that's what they do to everybody, but they've also doubled up George Washington on the glass, 26-13. The surprising number to me, Marquette has hit 7 of 11 beyond the arc on their threes.
And Marquette has been a poor three-point shooting team early on this season, only knocking down 25% of the threes, but today they're really finding the rhythm.
There's a shot knocked down by Maurice Creek, and George Washington needs to get their senior from the transfer from Indiana going here in the second half.
And now some excellent ball and player movement there, bringing Maurice Creek there off the down screen to free him up and get him going early in the first half.
Chris O'Toole inside. Doubled in the post. And a travel is called in Marquette with their 8th turnover. Let's update our one-on-one that you were looking at from the outset.
Well, George Washington, they needed to make a lot of three-pointers because Marquette is so big on the inside. They weren't going to be able to get inside the paint area. Maurice Creek hit the one, and it was late in the second half. And Marquette, we know what they've done in the paint. It's been on offensive rebounds, penetration, or post-ups.
In a first half that saw George Washington head coach Mike Lonergan pick up a technical foul. Maurice Creek, whistle, wave off the shot. And an illegal screen is called. Keithan Savage with his 2nd personal foul.
And Mike Lonergan's asking the official, what did he do? What did he do? Because they're running flex offense now. Mike Lonergan couldn't get anything out of his other sets in the first half. And that's nothing on Keithan Savage there. Keithan Savage was set in perfect position. Juan Anderson through Keithan Savage's body.
And now it appears Jake Thomas of Marquette has been called for a technical foul. During that sequence, and Buzz Williams wondering what is happening here. So they're counting the basket now for Creek. And the officials are talking things over about that last sequence, and there's some confusion on both sides here.
And they've gone to the monitor there to look and see what happened on this last play.
So they've counted that basket.
And let's see if we can watch Jake Thomas. He's not really involved there. Should not have been a moving pick.
Nothing right there that Thomas did. And Buzz Williams trying to get clarified from our officiating crew what exactly is transpiring here. Mark Whitehead working with Terry Weimer and Darren White are officials for this semifinal matchup of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy. So the basket counts for Creek as George Washington has scored the first 4 points of the second half. And on the screen there in the background, the two officials huddling over the monitor are Mark Whitehead and Terry Weimer.
Now, if they're changing this foul to give it to Juan Anderson because he throws Savage out of the way, now the foul happens there. That's way before Creek gets into his shooting motion. And you can see the official on the baseline there kind of waving off the whole play, waving off the shot. The foul happens there.
And it is a foul on Juan Anderson, so they have changed the call. Keithan Savage, who was initially called for the foul, they have taken that away, and they have called it on Juan Anderson of Marquette, and they've counted the basket, and George Washington gets the ball.
But Roxy, that basket should not have counted. They gave Creek the basket. He shot that ball way after the foul was being called. But advantage for George Washington there. Marquette gets the short end of the stick.
And now another foul against Marquette. And Devontae Gardner checking in for the Golden Eagles here.
If anything, it should have just been baseline out of bounds, foul on Juan Anderson, no points put on the board. But now George Washington has a chance to put in another dent in this lead.
Isaiah Armwood a pass to a cutting Joe McDonald for the lay-in. George Washington within 15. They trailed by as many as 21 in this matchup, but they've scored the first 6 points of the second half. Jamil Wilson, who just picked up his third foul, misses the chipping.
Derek Wilson should have shot that layup right there. I mean, he's point blank by the rim.
Reese Creek, the quick trigger. The rebound run down. Keithan Savage inside, blocked by Jamil Wilson. And Wilson runs it down for Marquette.
Well, GW has come out much more energized here in the second half on both ends of the floor. Mark, if you're Marquette and Buzz Williams, and I like this timeout by Buzz Williams, I think he's going to light into his guys a little bit and get them going.
So Marquette being threatened by George Washington early in the second half.
I'm like twice as big.
Does this have to do with Cheez-It Big Crackers being twice as big?
Look, I've been blasting my pecs, delts, abdominables, trapezes.
We take the time for our real cheese to mature before we bake it into our twice as big Big Cracker. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters.
This Black Friday, you could get this. Or this Stratocaster for just $89. Or guitar hooks and stands, 2 for $10. This, or this Kohala ukulele for just $25. This Black Friday, give the greatest feeling on earth at Guitar Center.
Quickness is everywhere.
Spin move. You gotta be quick. Everybody's gotta be quick. All of the dirty work, float off the floor and swat that ball out the way. Must be quick. Crossover. Broke the news. Go get it, go get it. You gotta be quick at every level. Collegiate, pro, high school, AAU. Quick to steal the ball. You wanna get 10 rebounds? Gotta be quick. You must be quick. Everywhere in the game.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Quick.
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Kate, will you marry me?
Yes.
Attention. Here you went to Jared.
Create your own one-of-a-kind ring at Jared this Friday through Monday and receive Get Set in Diamonds rewards. Up to $1,000 toward a beautiful diamond setting when you buy your diamond at Jared. Choose from thousands of diamonds and hundreds of settings.
Oh, please return your fiancée to her original upright position.
Get up to $1,000 reward at Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
46-31. Marquette leading George Washington early in the second half. We got some clarification during the timeout from Mark Whitehead, one of the officials here, about this last sequence. As Maurice
so freeze it right there. Now, the foul happened right here. But the explanation we got from the officials is that Maurice Creek was in the act of shooting. But as you can see, there was the foul. He was still dribbling the basketball. So I don't understand why the basket counted. They said he was in the act of shooting. That's why they gave Maurice Creek the basket and then the ball after that.
And there was some confusion on who the foul was on. And that was why it took a little while to figure out exactly what was going on. There was never a foul, even though it was announced that there was an illegal screen set by George Washington. That was not the case. They were just confused on the Marquette player guilty of the foul. Initially, they said it was Jake Thomas. Then they changed it to Juan Anderson. Jake Thomas missing from the top. Devontae Gardner runs down the rebound.
Go back inside, get the ball to Devontae Gardner now and see if he can do some work against Larson.
And a head check called against Keithan Savage of George Washington, his second personal foul. Correction, first personal foul. Rather, it is the second on Savage. And his first team foul on George Washington in the second half as Jake Thomas is fouled going to the basket.
And that's the second time this game. Thomas got an open three in the first half off that same baseline out of bounds play where he comes from the opposite side of the court and flashes to the wing. This time the defenders step out on him and he's able to dive to the basket and now draw the foul.
Third foul on Kevin Larson. And Thomas rolls in the first one. He is now 4 of 5 at the line, 10 points for the senior from Racine. Missing his second, Larson clears. So GW trying to chip into this Marquette lead as Maurice Creek steps back for the three.
And Roxy, this is what I talked about in the first half. If you're Maurice Creek, you're the best player. You're the guy everyone looks up to on this GW roster to kind of carry you. And now here in the second half, they've cut into that lead, all because of Maurice Creek on the offensive end.
Offensive foul against Juan Anderson. And Marquette, another turnover. A little bit of an opening for GW to get back into this game.
And Anderson turns the corner there. I don't necessarily agree that Armwood was in position. It looked like he was still kind of shuffling his feet, moving his feet as a secondary defender there as Juan Anderson was going into his upward motion.
Todd Mayo comes back in for Marquette wearing number 13. No, that's not Vanderblue back out there for Marquette. He is wearing that number because Mayo had some blood on his uniform in the first half.
And here goes that flex offense by GW. They've gotten quite a few shots for Creek out of this.
Maurice Creek on the drive, into the key, wave it off, and a charge called against Creek. First foul of Maurice Creek.
And this is a rarity in college basketball this year to see back-to-back charges. There's been more blocks than charges called now because of the rules as Creek here starts his upward motion, but Mayo's there in plenty of time, feet set, and takes it right to the chest.
9-1, George Washington has outscored Marquette to start the second half.
Bad spacing by the Golden Eagles.
Ten on the timer. Gardner. Nice pass inside to Chris O'Toole for the dunk.
Great job by Gardner to draw two defenders. He puts the ball on the floor as he demonstrated the ability to do that in the first half. And he draws O'Toole's defender and drops it off to his big man buddy.
Joe McDonald open three, hits it for George Washington. The Colonials within 12. Again, it was 21 at the half for Marquette. Derek Wilson cut to the basket. Beautiful pass out of the post. Chris O'Toole finds the cutting point guard for Marquette.
Not a lot of college basketball players do that enough. When the double team comes in the post area and your guy goes, you're supposed to dive right off his back. And Derek Wilson, we saw him do that 3 or 4 times yesterday against Cal State Fullerton Titans.
Isaiah Armwood missing, but the follow from the weak side put in by Joe McDonald. And again, good interior passing, this time from GW. Approaching 15 minutes remaining in the semifinal matchup of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on the campus of Cal State Fullerton in Southern California. Here's Gardner. Out of the double team to a cutting Wilson. Foul going up by Keithan Savage, his third.
And the big-to-big action has been effective tonight. Devontae Gardner with the nice drop-off and the hammer by Otule.
Saturday.
One of the greatest rivalries in the history of college football.
With their title hopes on the line, Braxton Miller and the unbeaten Buckeyes enter the Big House, where the Wolverines await, determined to destroy their arch-rivals' perfect season. College football presented by K Jewelers, Ohio State, Michigan. Part of Rivalry Series presented by GoPro. Saturday at noon Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
Shoot. Go away.
The squirrels just aren't listening to Dave. No, they don't seem to care what he says.
Back off.
But his DirecTV sure does. With DirecTV voice control, Dave can just say, find kids' movies, and his young'uns are neck-deep in family fun. Oh, if only getting the squirrels to stop was as easy as getting a little Ice Age. Search and record with just your voice. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Quickness is everywhere.
If you're a big man, you gotta be quick to block a shot.
Explode off the floor and swat that ball out the way. Go get it. Go get dirty work. You gotta be quick at every level.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere. But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, I'm married. Doesn't matter. You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state.
Big thrills await at California Adventure, home of the wildest elevator ride ever. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Board a phantom elevator, shoot up 13 stories, and then experience a thrilling plummet faster than gravity. Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, California Adventure Park. A guy who was not a terror on the sideline, but a gentle giant. George Raveling. What a legendary figure in the world of college basketball. He is here at the Wooden Legacy event here today.
One of the best in the business. George Raveling, when he was at USC, recruited me to come play for the Trojans. Ultimately, I decided to play for the Arizona Wildcats, but I've stayed in touch with him throughout the years, and he is now one of the most influential people in all of the world in basketball, not just college basketball or in the NBA, but internationally, one of the most influential and a great, great basketball mind and an even better person.
Raveling couldn't get you, Miles, to stay home, but he did a heck of a job recruiting Iowa, USC. Now with Nike, Phil Knight's right-hand man, and he recently won the Naismith Lifetime Achievement Award, has really struck up a great relationship with Buzz Williams, goes to a lot of his games. I saw him last year at Marquette.
Buzz Williams' team leading it by 14 as Isaiah Armwood misses. The rebound, Derek Wilson inside for Marquette. And a foul against George Washington, and Nemanja Mikic going for the rebound. So Buzz Williams. 15th foul against George Washington. George Raveling just inducted on Sunday. College Basketball Hall of Fame in Kansas City. And he is here, checking out the DirecTV Wooden Legacy. Todd Mayo, the pull-up. And Isaiah Armwood, falling out of bounds, tries to throw it off Chris Otule. And we're waiting for the signal. There it is. George Washington basketball in a very heady play by Isaiah Armwood, the senior from Baltimore, Maryland. So Marquette by 14. They've led by as many as 21, and George Washington looking for an opening to get back in. Isaiah Armwood goes inside. Shot will not go, but he's fouled. He'll get a couple of free throws, and Chris O'Toole coming over to help out on the double team picks up the foul.
And that was a great quick move by Isaiah Armwood there. He felt that Devontae Gardner was right on his back and goes right away. Quick move. Gardner not able to move his feet. And Isaiah Armwood going to the line now.
So here is Armwood, 2 of 2 at the line, 70% on the season. And this is the first, and Armwood really a key figure to Mike Lonergan this season as they try to make a run toward an A-10 championship, and especially on the defensive end where he's really the anchor for the Colonials.
Well, he had 68 block shots last season. He plays with great energy. Coach wants him to be more consistent from 15 to 17 feet. We've seen him take a couple jumpers today, none of them falling. But he can be a great leader, and Coach says he has really a sense of urgency because he wants to continue his basketball career after this season.
Devontae Gardner banks it in. And the lead to 15 for Marquette.
And Gardner with the high, soft touch over his former Big East foe because Armwood playing at Villanova.
16 points now for Gardner. Shot clock at 10. Miguel Cartagena looking to create. Tough fadeaway in the baseline. Rims off, but tipped up and in from the weak side. Patricio Garino with the hoop.
Garino's actually really giving them some nice minutes today. Got to the foul line, got a dunk, and now the tip in from the weak side. Seems that his finger's feeling much better.
Gardner can't handle the pass inside. Picked up by Armwood. 10 turnovers now for the Golden Eagles.
Wilson's too much of a hesitant shooter. He's wide open from 15 feet, and he made that pass too tough because he was too close.
Armwood for 3. And the rebound, Derek Wilson and Marquette. Todd Mayo attacks. Gardner has his shot blocked by Isaiah Armwood. It went off the rim. And here comes George Washington. So GW just kind of hanging around, trying to get it to single digits. If they can, they're down 13.
Well, I think they need to come back with Maurice Creek sooner rather than later, especially as we get down to the halfway point of this second half. He's the guy that's been carrying the offensive load, and as I speak, he's coming right to the scorer's table now.
Jamil Wilson back in the game as Todd Mayo drives to the basket. Has his shot swatted away by Isaiah Armwood. 4 on 3 for the Colonials. Garino on the drive. Finds an open to Manya Mikic. Rims off the 3, and Jamil Wilson clears for the Golden Eagles. Good look for Mikic.
Yeah, couldn't ask for a better look. Nice job by Patricio Garino to get into the paint and find one of the best shooters on this George Washington team.
Derek Wilson slithers in along the baseline. Fouled and one.
And the Marquette Golden Eagles maintaining that 15-point lead over George Washington midway through the second half.
The Mercedes-Benz winter event is back with the perfect vehicle that's just right for you, no matter which list you're on.
Get the all-new 2014 CLA 250, starting at just $29,900.
Two nights, 12 games. The Big Ten ACC Challenge on the home court of college hoops. Indiana, Syracuse, and Michigan, Duke Tuesday. And Maryland, Ohio State, and North Carolina, Michigan State Wednesday on ESPN.
It's the best time to buy winter boots at Rogan's. Get 20% off a great selection for men, kids, and women, like these. Save for the whole family at Rogan's.
Selection, service, name brands, and the second pair is always half price. Visit online at roganshoes.com.
My skin's so dry and itchy. Right there. Oh, makes me crazy.
Relief starts now. Gold Bond Extra Strength Medicated Lotion. 5 intensive moisturizers and an extra strength itch fighter. Soothe skin so you feel good all day. Gold Bond. Relief starts now.
How do I spell heartburn relief?
Come on, there's only one way.
R-O-L-A-I-D-S, that's how I spell it.
Rolaids starts working instantly, neutralizing 44% more acid than Tums.
Relief is good.
Rolaids, that's how you spell relief.
Winter is here, and dress boots are on sale at Rogan's. Get 20% off a huge selection of the best name brands. I get my style and my savings at Rogan's.
Selection, service, name brands, and the second pair is always half price. Visit online at roganshoes.com.
Steve Weissman in studio. Arizona arriving at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The #4 Wildcats taking on 6th-ranked Duke. That's coming up next, featuring the freshman Jabari Parker and Aaron Gordon. Now back to Roxy and Miles.
All right, Steve, ESPN's coverage of the NIT season tip-off concludes tonight. Championship game when Duke takes on Arizona. ESPN's journey to the tourney tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Championship game, part of ESPN's journey to the tourney, presented by Sonic, a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Aaron Gordon against Jabari Parker. Good matchup there. Madison Square Garden coming up in a little less than an hour from now.
Roxy and Jeff, and I know those two guys probably will be matching up at some point during the game. Gordon, an excellent defender, but Parker's kind of a do-it-all on the offensive end, can shoot from the 3, put it on the floor, post up. You know, it'll be interesting when they match up if Parker can try to get Gordon in foul trouble and maybe neutralize him and take him out of the game.
Parker's been a guy who's been terrific. Nobody's been able to stop him. I think Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, guys, could be a guy for Arizona. He's long, athletic. He's kind of a better offensive Stacey Augmon.
That's a good comparison right there. And that's pretty big shoes to fill. Stacey Augmon, the integral part of UNLV's national championship run.
And then I know transfers has been a key word or a buzzword throughout college basketball. Arizona has one of the biggest impact transfers. A guy, T.J. McConnell, who kind of just runs the show. First true point guard, really, that Sean Miller's had in his time in the desert.
Transferring from Duquesne, and he did sit out last season.
Quinn Cook also going to be a key tonight, guys. I mean, he's got to run that team for Duke and not make mistakes and play within himself. Sometimes he has a tendency to get overexcited and try to do too much.
So Duke and Arizona at Madison Square Garden. And a turnover on the inbound, a 5-second call. Rather, a timeout was taken to avoid the 5-second call by Marquette. So Buzz Williams able to save the possession, getting the timeout. Marquette leading it by 16. Get close to all the action wherever you are with the new Sports Center app. Blazing fast scores, the hottest news and highlights, analysis, and access to your favorite Sports Center talent 24/7 via Twitter. You can download the new Sports Center app by calling *SC from your phone. You want to preview that Arizona-Duke game? They've got it for you there. Just inside 10.5 minutes to go in the semifinal. The winner of this game on Sunday down at the Honda Center in Anaheim will play the championship game against either San Diego State or Creighton. That game coming up tonight here at Titan Gym in Fullerton. Deflected out, last touch by GW.
Roxy, when you watch Marquette run their baseline out of bounds plays, one reason why it's so hard to defend, they almost go out of the same set nearly every time. So they put Jake Thomas on the opposite side of the basketball and then the two bigs on the ball side. And now they have plenty of different options out of just that one set, which makes it tough to scout because you don't know what's going to come. And they've been very successful on baseline out of bounds plays tonight. Jake Thomas just couldn't convert the last one.
Shot clock at 3. The lob over the top, and Devontae Gardner with the lay-in. And Marquette leads it by 18.
An excellent recognition by the junior Derek Wilson. Knew how much time was left, knew that he could make a soft lob pass and still give Devontae Gardner time to finish the shot.
A three knocked in, the second triple for Joe McDonald, who has 10.
I really like Joe McDonald. He's the one that sent it to overtime yesterday against the Miami Hurricanes. He's part of this sophomore class of guys of Garino that were starters and starters for most of the season, along with Keith and Savage for this George Washington team last year.
Inside again. Gardner in the post. He is pushed in the back. And if that's on Kevin Larson, that's 4. So 4 fouls now in the starting center for George Washington with 9:29 remaining. And it's the 7th team foul on George Washington, a 1-and-1 for Devontae Gardner.
Kevin Larson's really struggled in his 2 games here in Fullerton. Hasn't really been a factor, only 4 points yesterday. Today, 0 points, 4 rebounds. Just has really struggled against the size and athleticism of Miami and also Marquette.
So Gardner rattles out the front end of the 1-and-1. Out of bounds, last touch by Todd Mayo. And it goes to George Washington. Juwan Johnson comes in for Marquette.
And as much as it seems that George Washington is kind of out of this game, remember they were down 21 points here at halftime. So they cut that down to 15 and see if they can try to get Maurice Creek back in the game as soon as possible, because he's the guy that's been scoring here in the second half.
Inside, Isaiah Armwood. Left it short. At the rim, a foul against Marquette. And Jamil Wilson has just picked up his 4th personal foul at 9:01 to play. And 2 free throws for Keith and Savage of George Washington. 1 of 3 at the line today, 4 points. Savage hits both.
And I think George Washington's in a good spot here with 9 minutes left in the game. If you can get this down to single digits with about 5 minutes left in this basketball game, then you've given yourself a shot, especially with the way they've been shooting the 3-pointer this season. Not so much tonight, but they're more than capable.
Steve Taylor Jr. checks in for Marquette as Wilson sits with the 4 fouls. Here's Devontae Gardner. Spinning into the key, and Gardner with a soft touch. He has 20, and the lead is back to 15.
One of the best old man games in all of college basketball. Just uses his body to his advantage, able to turn the corner with the little spin and then the soft touch.
Foul against Marquette, and it's against Gardner, just his 1st. And Keith and Savage going back to the free throw line for the Colonials.
Savage just put his head down and decided he was going to the rim, and whatever the contact was going to be, block or charge, he was going to live with that result, and he's able to get to the foul line.
Sophomore Savage, too strong on the first free throw. And now with 4 fouls, Kevin Larson comes back as Mike Lonergan rolling the dice, sending his center back into the game with 4 fouls and 8:23 remaining. Maurice Creek still sitting on the George Washington bench. 1 out of 2 for Savage, so an interesting move by Lonergan to get Larson back in the game with 4 fouls and still lots of time.
Well, I worry about Creek being on the bench for so long. He had 7 points early in this half, and then now it's been quiet as of late, but they need to get this guy, that's your leading scorer, to get in and cut this lead.
Wilson spins into the lane. Isaiah Armwood changes the shot. Loose ball, last touch by the foot of Joe McDonald, out of bounds to Marquette. Maurice Creek checking back in. GW down 14 here to Marquette.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Wait, I think you have the wrong guy here.
Bill is talking, but the man with the neck tattoo is just not listening.
There's been some kind of mistake.
If only he was more like Bill's DirecTV. With DirecTV voice control, all Bill has to say is find romantic comedies, and there they are. Right now, Bill is looking forward to watching Love Actually, and looking forward to blacking out soon. Search and record with just your voice. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Cheez-It Zings are bold, like game day fans, which means they are...
Awesome!
No.
Super!
A
magical? A magical! I knew I'd get it.
Just say amazings.
Yeah, a magical.
They are a glowing example of what it means to be the best. And at this special time of year, they shine even brighter. Come to the winter event and get the Mercedes-Benz you've always wished for, now for an exceptional price.
Lease the 2014 E350 for $579 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Quickness is everywhere.
If you're a big man, you gotta be quick to block a shot.
Explode off the floor and swat that ball out the way. Go get it. Go get it. Dirty work. You gotta be quick at every level.
The Adidas Crazy Girls puts quick everywhere. But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Feast Week presented by Lowe's. DirecTV Wooden Legacy. The other semifinal is Doug McDermott. The Creighton Blue Jays, a big win against Arizona State here last night. And they move into the semifinals in a day with Steve Fisher's San Diego State Aztecs later. But Doug McDermott, just a tremendous effort again for Creighton last night in that game with Arizona State.
Well, I think the most difficult thing when trying to defend Doug McDermott is that his father, Greg McDermott, puts him in so many different places on the floor. He uses down screens to come off and catch and shoot. He's better at putting the basketball on the floor. He is excellent in the post. He rim runs almost to the block. He loves to be physical down there and get to the foul line. And then he can stretch you out to the three-point line as a pick and pop guy. So he's all over the floor at all times. He's a great rebounder. So it's really hard to pigeonhole him to say, how are you going to stop him, because he's so versatile.
Devontae Gardner missing the rebound by Kevin Larson. And the versatility, Jeff, which Miles was just talking about, how do you match up and try to defend Doug McDermott and Creighton?
You know what, it's really hard because, as Miles said, he could score in every which way. In the post, he gets rid of the ball so quickly. I've never seen anybody, from the time they get the ball to the time they put it up into the hoop, get rid of it so quick. He can step out and shoot it. He didn't do it great last night. But he's a nightmare because he does. He runs the court so hard. He's not a great athlete, but he's got such a high basketball IQ. And for a basketball fan, he's just so much fun to watch.
The result of the game last night, that Creighton knocked off Arizona State as Steve Taylor Jr. misses, should not be a surprise to anybody, but the way it happened and how badly Creighton dismantled Arizona State was shocking to me.
Yeah, and they did it on the defensive end. They did an excellent job of corralling Jahi Carson, making every look tough for him last night. And the way that they share that basketball, and if they can defend like that, obviously I think them and Marquette, Creighton and Marquette be two of the top teams, if not finish 1-2 in the Big East this year.
Patricio Garino with the basket. 12-point lead for number 25, Marquette. Juwan Johnson has his shot deflected. Here comes GW, a chance to cut it to single digits with a three. Reese Creek on the drive. Isaiah Harmwood picks up the loose ball. Inside, Garino again has his shot changed by Gardner. And now Kevin Larson has his shot blocked, and Marquette comes away with it. Boy, the Golden Eagles just dominating around the basket all afternoon long here in Fullerton.
And that was a perfect opportunity to cut this thing to 10 with about 6 minutes left. Like I said, they need to be probably into single digits with about 5 minutes or a little bit under.
There's a steal. Patricio Garino to the basket. And he is clobbered by Todd Mayo, went barreling into the stanchion. And George Washington wants a flagrant. Doesn't look like they'll get the call, but the steal by Garino on the poor pass.
Well, Todd Mayo was coming off that screen, and he just slipped, and that caused him to lose the basketball, not being able to catch that thing. And then he tracks down Garino. And actually, that was a lot of basketball right there, a little bit on the arm. But Todd Mayo made a clean play on the ball there.
I know there is some concern every time Garino has the ball, gathers and go-ups, because he's playing with the screws in his fractured right index finger. Missing the free throw. Third foul on Todd Mayo.
And Roxy, I know, being the great shooter that you are, you know how important the index and the middle finger are to shooting the basketball, because when you're shooting the basketball, the ball should leave those two fingers last as you finish your follow-through. The index and the middle finger are the two most important fingers, and those are the ones that he has taped up. And so now he doesn't really have the flexibility or deflection in those fingers to be able to snap down all the way, and it's affecting his shot.
Reach and foul against Garino, his first, as he missed both free throws. 9 block shots for George Washington now in the game, but yeah, Sean Farnham about my shooting prowess.
I'll let you, I'll back away from that one right now. And I'll let Sean Farnham tweet at you on that.
I think my phone's about to blow up, courtesy of Sean Farnham.
You've yet to beat me, though, right? Can I confirm that?
What's that?
You've yet to beat me yet.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Juan Anderson, the 1-and-1, he'll get the bonus.
Juan Anderson has a nice cheering section here. Northern California native from Oakland. Actually played on the same AAU team, the Oakland Rebels, same AAU program that produced Damian Lillard, last year's Rookie of the Year.
14-point lead for Marquette. Still to come. Number 4, Arizona gets number 6, Duke, as Keithan Savage a pretty move to the basket.
That was beautiful right there. The crossover between the legs to split the defenders, and then nobody stops the ball. Joe McDonald does a poor job.
And Isaiah Armwood appears to be shaken up, as the basket by Derek Wilson. Armwood being helped up by Wilson and his teammate Kevin Larson.
And we watch Armwood come over for the little help side there. He just takes a shot right to the gut, got the wind knocked out of him as the elbow was given by Derek Wilson as he went up for the shot.
5:22 remaining. And Armwood okay, staying in the game. Marquette leading it by 14. They led by 21 at the half. George Washington has yet to get it back into single digits. And Maurice Creek needs to get going if George Washington can come back here.
The flex action really worked well for them in the first half. It got Creek got his offense going early.
Keithan Savage tripped in the key by Jake Thomas. The 3rd foul on Thomas. And going to the line will be Keithan Savage for George Washington.
And I think that's a smart offensive play. Keithan Savage is their best driver of the basketball. They're able to spin off of Thomas, and then they just kind of get tangled up. Their feet kind of get tangled, but Savage just attacking in the one-on-one, especially when you're in the bonus. Put the onus on the referee to make a call.
1-and-1 for Keithan Savage, who is 4 of 7 at the line. 8th Marquette team foul of the second half. And Savage will get one more. 11 for Savage. Maurice Creek leads George Washington with 14. Second one missing, and Juan Anderson claims the rebound. So Creek, who even though he leads GW in points, has not scored in the last 10 minutes, and he spent a good portion of this second half on the George Washington bench. Jamil Wilson, who's been quiet today and in foul trouble, misses. And the rebound falls to Devontae Gardner, and Marquette runs it away. And we'll use a little clock here with inside 4.5 minutes to go.
Smart play by Gardner. Didn't have anything going down low. Didn't try to force a pass off the offensive rebound. Time and score, the most important thing for the Golden Eagles.
Shot clock at 15. Ball poked free. Jake Thomas recovers, and now a timeout before he gets tied up. So the timeout to save the possession for Buzz Williams and Marquette with the shot clock at 8. 4:05 remaining. And Marquette leading at 66-53, trying to advance to the championship game of this DirecTV Wooden Legacy. And Devontae Gardner has been the man today for the Golden Eagles.
Another big outing by the big fella, Devontae Gardner. Posting up big on the inside. You can't let him get deep post position at the block, and there he just stays with it, using those credit card hops to get that, recover that basketball, keeps it up high, quick release on the layup, and then showing some of that versatility with the spin move, acting like a big point forward there. Devontae Gardner with 20 points on the evening for Marquette.
So Gardner, a big day, 20 points, 9 rebounds. After Gardner went for 18 points and 9 rebounds yesterday in their quarterfinal victory over the host Cal State Fullerton Titans, and 1 rebound away from his 6th career double-double. He had one Monday night in their loss at Arizona State. So 8 coming back out of the timeout. Jamil Wilson hops into the key. Missed a shot inside from point-blank range. Gets his own miss and puts it back in.
A lot of fans wanted to travel there on Jamil Wilson, but that was just a fundamentally sound play. You teach young players to do a jump stop and gather yourself, and he did that. It just was a little bit more exaggerated, and then he was able to be a quick second jumper and finish.
Reeves Creek missing the 3, pushing, and a hard foul as Juan Anderson gets clobbered going to the basket.
And Jamil Wilson, with time running down on the shot clock, able to penetrate the big jump stop, the pump fake, the persistence, the finish, and the Golden Eagles with a 15-point lead.
Look out into the world. Choose your path, and I will be there. In the blistering heat, whether the road is curved or straight, this is my purpose. So challenge me, test me as you push yourself. We are in this together. I am your engine. You are my driver. Royal Purple, the performance lubricants that outperform.
Quickness is everywhere.
Spin move. Spin on my man.
The spin move can be very effective.
I broke the dude. Collegiate level, pro level, high school.
The Adidas Crazy Ghost puts quick everywhere.
Finish at the rim.
But it's only available at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, what fun it is to ride. Get the Mercedes-Benz on your wish list at the winter event going on now. But hurry, the offer ends soon.
Lease the 2014 ML350 for $599 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Scottrade knows our clients trade and invest their own way.
With Scottrade Smart Techs, I can quickly understand my charts and spend more time trading. Their quick trade bar lets my account follow me online, so I can react in real time. Plus, my local Scottrade office is there to help. Because they know I don't trade like everybody. I trade like me. I'm with Scottrade.
Ranked highest in investor satisfaction with self-directed services by J.D. Power & Associates.
Steve Weiss from Seth Greenberg in studio right now over on ESPN2. Alabama, Drexel going down to the wire. Roll Tide up too late. What happens here, Coach?
Bruiser Flick decides not to foul, goes with the blitz, creates a turnover. Chris Fouch with the basket, then coming down the other way. Great job of communication, switching this ball screen, keeping Relford in front, contesting the shot. We're going to overtime in the Garden.
We are in overtime. Duke, Arizona next over there. Back to Fullerton.
All right, Steve, number 25, Marquette, trying to put the finishing touches on this semifinal matchup with George Washington, trying to advance to the title game of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy, which will be Sunday, played just down the highway in Anaheim at the Honda Center. And Juan Anderson going to the line for Marquette. One more coming. 8 points for Anderson, along with 7 rebounds.
Remember, he was a guy that was really active in the first half, especially on the offensive glass. He's a big wing at 6'6", 215 pounds, and he's drawn the assignment of Maurice Creek for most of the night when Creek has been in the game.
Some full court pressure from Marquette. GW needs to have a sense of urgency here. Down 17, final 3:20. Nemanja Mikic missing a 3. After a hot shooting day here yesterday in their overtime win against Miami, Mikic has struggled to get on track here against Marquette.
Well, Mikic is playing with much more confidence this year. Coach Garino said that last season he felt a lot of pressure to make every shot. He was trying to graduate with a finance degree. But this year, much more relaxed, especially with Creek and Armwood taking a lot of pressure off him as they are the leading scorers.
Juan Anderson inside to Devontae Gardner. Jake Thomas missing, and the rebound, Patricio Garino. And George Washington brings it up.
Savage should attack right now, try to take the big fella off the dribble. And there he goes, smart play. Go one-on-one, try to draw the foul.
Here he goes to the basket. Gets the roll off the rim.
Perfect play. Devontae Gardner stood no chance of stopping Savage from getting to the rim.
13 for Savage. Juan Anderson. Wise play just to run some more clock for the Golden Eagles. Excellent ball movement. Results in a made 3 by Jake Thomas from the corner.
And to pick up off your point, Roxy, Juan Anderson passing that shot up in the corner with 20 seconds left on the shot clock allowed a better shot for his partner, Jake Thomas, about 4 passes later.
Even Savage on the drive. Isaiah Armwood underneath, fouled on a putback. 1:43 remaining, and George Washington had a special night last night, Miles, for their Thanksgiving dinner.
Absolutely. These young men, they travel so much throughout the year, and none of the George Washington players, you know, being from the West Coast, they have a graduate, Jackie and Gil Cisneros. Gil Cisneros was a 1994 GW graduate, but they won $266 million in the California Mega Millions. And yes, I said $266 million. So they have a beautiful home in the Newport Coast area. That's where I'm striving to be one day, you know, when I win the Powerball or the Mega Millions. But they had the whole team to their house, and they catered a meal in, and the young man, everybody really enjoyed it. The ocean view in Newport Coast is one of the best in all of the world. And I know that the whole GW family was really appreciative of the Cisneros having them at their house.
They got to have an extra room for us that we can just hang out for the weekend, right?
Well, I saw the pictures on the email, and boy, was it spectacular! A spectacular layout for these young men and spread to be able to go over there.
And the patience from Marquette. Gardner a 3. That one rims off. And the rebound last touch by Juan Anderson. It goes to George Washington, 1:07 remaining.
And I think Juan Anderson banged his elbow as Armwood came crashing into him. I think Juan Anderson maybe hit his funny bone as he goes crashing to the ground. That right elbow, right there, he lands a little bit on it, and he's holding it, but he's a tough young guy.
So the 25th ranked Golden Eagles leading it by 16. GW appears to be headed for their first loss of the year. 1 minute now.
Well,
after a 5-0 start.
I think GW builds a lot of positives out of this game. Armwood playing very aggressive. Creek got going in the second half. But I believe they actually outplayed the Marquette Golden Eagles here in the second half.
Only problem was they were down 21 at the break.
You're exactly right. They were the more aggressive team here in the second half. They defended very well. I just think they didn't play with a lot of confidence or aggressiveness at the start of this basketball game.
Joe McDonald missing a 3, hustling and diving for the loose ball. Jake Thomas ahead. Derek Wilson lays it in, but the tremendous effort by Thomas with his team up by 16 points, 40 seconds to play. Marquette still going at it hard.
And Buzz Williams absolutely loved that play right there by Jake Thomas. He was fist pumping, clapping, going crazy because Jake Thomas slid about 8 or 10 feet to get this loose ball, was going to call timeout, gets his head up. Mike Lonergan was actually upset because he saw Jake Thomas signal for the timeout, but Buzz Williams coming out the first one at half court to high five. You love the energy of Buzz Williams. You know, it's infectious with your team when you do that, and your coach is so, you know, and your coach is so involved with you, you know, on a personal level. And we talked about them finding their identity, and one of those traits was diving on loose balls, you know, making the plays, helping your teammates up. That stuff carries a long way throughout a long season.
And no chance anybody from Marquette mails it in. When you're playing for Buzz Williams, you need to have to go 40 minutes full bore, and that's what we've seen from Marquette, and the hustle right there by Jake Thomas, who could have, all right, let him just get the loose ball, and we've got this game won, but he still plays through the final horn.
Absolutely, because it's a mentality, a culture that is started in practice every day, and then it carries on to the game, and you hit it right on the head when you're up already 14 or 16 points. This game was over. Jake Thomas didn't need to do that, but you see the whole bench, the whole staff, Buzz Williams, and the fans appreciated it.
Three-point play for Savage, who has 16. But Marquette will go to 5-2 and move into the championship of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on Sunday, where they will play either Creighton or San Diego State. That matchup still to come later tonight. Dave Fleming and Sean Farnham will have that for you from Titan Gym here at Fullerton.
And we shouldn't be sleeping on San Diego State. We haven't mentioned them really in this broadcast. But Winston Shepard, Skylar Spencer, Matt Shrigley shot the ball extremely well last night. They have a senior in Xavier Thames at the point guard spot, and Steve Fisher, one of the best coaches in the country. You know, they can match up with McDermott well because they have some 6'6" to 6'8", 6'9" athletes that they can switch on to McDermott at different times during the game.
And there'll be a good crowd on hand for that. San Diego State, the show. The fans that follow the Aztecs from San Diego will make the trip up here from San Diego to Fullerton. And Creighton traveled very well for this event.
Well, who wouldn't want to come out to, it's rainy Southern California today, but usually sunny out here in the Orange County area, and spend your Thanksgiving watching some great hoops with a lot of talent in this Wooden Legacy tournament.
Buzz Williams gets his walk-on Dylan Flood into the game as Juan Anderson hits 1 out of 2. And he has 10. 9.4 to go. So Marquette will hand George Washington their first loss of the season. And still one more game to go for GW here in Southern California. They'll play the loser of that Creighton-San Diego State matchup on Sunday. To wrap up play of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy as Maurice Creek misses a 3. And that will do it. And Marquette moves on to the championship of the DirecTV Wooden Legacy on Sunday. They're now 5-2 behind Devontae Gardner. The Golden Eagles 76 and George Washington 60. There is your bracket. And Marquette will play at 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern in the championship on Sunday at the Honda Center. For Miles Simon and Jeff Goodman, Roxy Bernstein saying so long from Fullerton. Again, the final. It was Marquette 76, George Washington 60. Now let's send it to Steve Weissman and Seth Greenberg for College Basketball Live scoreboard.
All right, thanks, Roxy. We got Dan Dockich in studio as well. First, we start with a live look-in over on ESPN2 right now. Alabama and Drexel, 2-point lead right now.